So the title today is Building Leaders from Within Your Organization. And in fact, these are going to be the 7 absolute best ways to build the next generation of leaders within your organization. If you own or run a business, you basically have 2 choices. You can either search for leaders in the marketplace and then try to convince those leaders to join your team, or alternatively, you can build leaders from within your own organization. And when you do the latter, you actually have the potential to create enthusiasm within your team. You're creating a culture of growth and energy. It's actually cheaper for your company, by the way, and it's really more rewarding for you as the person who's running this organization if you do it this way. So in this episode, I'm going to cover the 7 absolute best ways to build your next generation of leaders. If you're interested in building leaders from within, then these tips can really help. So let's first though talk about how to influence people in a positive way and really help your team grow. So before I kind of cover the 7 tips, let's start with why these skills actually work. Because although every human being is different, most of us want specific things from our leaders. For instance, people will do things for and follow people who they know, they like, and they respect. So they have to know you, obviously, if they're going to work for you. They have to like you, and they have to respect you. In addition to that, every person really wants to feel important. I mean, that's one of the basic needs that all human beings have, is they want to feel important. Thirdly, leaders who make those people around them feel important, they build confidence in those people. And then finally, confident people who feel that their job is important tend to trust and respect their leaders. So all 4 of those things have to kind of be in place if you want to build the kind of team that you're looking for. Now, many people think that leaders have to tear people down and build them back up. That's like boot camp in the army or something like that. And this is a huge mistake, especially in the business world. For some reason, we tend to believe that the best way to get people to be productive is to kind of kick them in the pants every once in a while. And typically, you're going to get the actual opposite effect if you do that, because your team may comply out of fear, but they're not going to grow in confidence. So as a result, you'll have to kind of order them around to do every little thing, and otherwise nothing's ever going to get done. Um, I give an example of this. Bobby Knight. When I was a teenager, Bobby Knight he was a basketball coach at Indiana, and he was most known for, anyway, while I was growing up anyway, he was most known for throwing a chair across the basketball court at I think it was Purdue. And by the way, I found that segment on YouTube, and I put this in the show notes. So if you want to see the Bobby Knight throwing the chair across the basketball court, the whole incident is on YouTube, courtesy of ESPN, and you can kind of see that. But I mean, I hadn't seen that footage in over 30 years. I still remembered it, but when I went back to look at it, I noticed something that I didn't notice 30 years ago. A few minutes into the scene, into the recording, you can hear the crowd yelling, "Bobby, Bobby, Bobby." And basically what that showed is that the students at Indiana absolutely loved Bobby Knight. They respected him. And Bobby Knight didn't win over 800 games because he threw chairs across basketball courts, by the way. He won games because he loved his teams, and his teams absolutely loved and respected him. I found an article on ESPN. A guy named John Bilas, he was the author of it, and it was called 800 Reasons Why I Love Bobby Knight. And this was right as I think at the time he had 799 wins, and he was on the verge of getting the 800 career wins. And this was the excerpt. I'll kind of read it because it's something I don't have memorized, but I think it was kind of touching. He said, so this is Bilas from this article. He said, the Monday following its loss to Kansas State, Texas Tech had 2 short and focused workouts. The players were spirited and alert while working on their shooting and zone offense. Knight was his usual self in practice. He was barking instructions, barking encouragement. He had dry witticisms, and doing it in such a way that the action rarely stopped. And if you had not known that Texas Tech had lost by 25 in its last time out, you never would have guessed it by the manner in which the players and coaches approached their work. Following the workout, as he usually does, Knight took his players into the locker room to discuss the practice. Knight told his players the things that they did well during the morning workout, what they would work on and to accomplish in the afternoon workout, what I wanted them to accomplish in the afternoon workout. And then he closed by saying something that few would believe. Given the widespread perception of Knight, he said thank you to his players. Knight thanked them for their concentration, for their hard work, for their attentiveness to the tasks that were at hand. He also said he also said they gave him as enjoyable a practice as he has had as a coach. He told him that he expected the same kind of effort and environment in the afternoon workout. In a way, it was still quoting. In a way, it was extraordinary. In another way, it was just Knight. So that was the end quote. But basically, that was Bobby Knight's way of building leaders from within. And a number of the things that he did at the end of that practice that the ESPN coach kind of complimented him on or noticed are things that we're going to talk about here today when we cover the 7 best ways to build your next generation of leaders. So, and by the way, these principles are time tested. They're principles. They work 100% of the time. If you make these things a part of your normal coaching style, then you're going to grow fantastic leaders from within your organization. Many of these principles, by the way, will help you gain trust and respect from the people around you. And as the level of trust and respect increases, your influence over others will grow as well. So to win trust and win respect, it basically results in a win-win relationships, the win-win relationships that you're building with your team. And that's what's really, really important about these things. So let's kind of focus on the 7 principles and how you can actually use these in the real world.